man, I've been around horses all my life.
You on the
Are we
television?
on? Huh?
You're on the internet.
All right, hey folks.
Hey guys.
Welcome to UG. That's UG.TV, UG TV. Saturday afternoon, the Wild Bob and Ronnie show coming to you right now on the internet, and we'll be with you on 1450 as well as 109, 100.9. Is that what it is out there?
No, it ain't on yet.
Oh, it's not on
No.
yet? Well, they're saving it for later, folks, so just tune in to 1450 on your AM dial. And you get, and I want to say hello to Ann, if she's watching
Hello,
on the
Ann,
internet.
whoever you are.
Or if she's, may I say hello again here on the radio here in a few minutes.
I want to say hello to everybody in Kentucky. We
Right,
really
yeah.
love having Kentucky people.
I want to say hello to everybody on old 25W.
Right.
Oh, 25W.
What about the new 25?
Yeah,
No.
as I was mentioning, folks, I found a way around the Tank Springs here by the little exhibition they had here on some of the old things that existed here in Lapolic, and such as pictures of the city when it was old, and pictures of the blast furnace and all that sort of thing, you know, which a blast furnace, when it was going at its full strength in 1905, was producing up to 300 tons
I was
of
looking
pig,
at
of pig iron in a day.
yesterday. I was looking at a map of this area.
Uh-huh.
You know, in around 18. When was it? 1890, somewhere in there. They made Scott County out of parts of Fentress, Morgan, and Campbell.
Right.
And there was no La Follette and no Oneida.
Can we back up?
Yeah.
Life was good in those days.
And it was.
You had a Jacksboro, county
Right.
seat.
Had a Jacksboro.
You had a Huntsville,
Right. Had the first of 3 courthouses.
and then they cut all that up. They had a Jamestown, and they cut all that up, made Scott County, and made Huntsville the county seat.
Right. Well, I guess that area up there was our loss as well as their loss.
I love old maps like that. Look at old maps. What was it, 1895 or 96 that
When this town was
La Follette
incorporated,
came?
yeah.
Something like that.
I think his brother got lost and started Oneida over there.
And what I get it for is, a lot of times these liberty quotes that I use, which I'm gonna read some of them on the air here in a minute, and, the first one is one of the best ones.
Yeah.
What's that
Right.
about?
It is dangerous to be right when the government is wrong.
Oh, Liberty quotes.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
Bob,
yeah,
hey, we ain't got no sound.
we ain't,
No,
on what, anything unplugged?
maybe we do have sound. Tell them who we are.
Hey folks, welcome to the Saturday afternoon edition of the radio edition of the Wild Bob and Ronnie show. I'm your host, Bob Andrews, and my co-host here, Ronnie Sharp, as well as we have our resident brain trust here, Jerry Kidd and R.L. Henson, that will be glad to straighten us out on anything we go astray. So welcome today.
We never have gone straight.
Hmm?
We never used to them guys, we never have gone straight.
Well, probably won't, but they keep waiting for the opportunity.
Oh, yeah, well, let them talk a little,
Right,
make them
yeah.
feel good.
So we
Call us,
welcome you.
folks. You can call us at 562-3557 or 566-1450.
Right, just call on in if you got somebody you want us to insult, or whatever you want to say, we'll be glad to talk to you about it. So, anything unusual going on besides the walking demonstration down here on North Tennessee Avenue? Did you go to that?
No, sir.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Too
you know.
cold to get out there amongst all them.
Oh, I know that, yeah, but you have to watch
It's
out.
either too cold, too hot, too wet, or too dry.
Looked like all the candidates were down there.
Yeah,
really,
A lot of
yeah.
signs everywhere.
Right.
Vehicles with signs
Which,
on.
one of my favorites was down there, but the way he was dressed, he could have won an election over in, Istanbul. He was wearing his fez, you know, and his, Masonic, what do you call them people?
Shriners.
Huh?
Shriners.
Shriners, yeah.
Mason.
Right, yeah, okay, they call them dangerous is what you do, good people.
You called them drunk masons one time, you got out of
Well, I got in
trouble.
trouble, I told them, the only difference was that a Shriner was a drunk mason.
That's
They're good
me,
people.
old
Difference between a
me.
mason and a Shriner is
Right,
Mason can walk straight.
K-I-D-D.
right. I came across a good story that I'm gonna relate to you before we get down to some of the serial business that we usually endeavor in. Is it seems that this fellow's, had an insurance policy out on his farm and his barns and everything, and, his barn burned down. So the insurance adjuster came out and said, yeah, you've got a total loss. And he said, well, just write me a check. They said, no, said, we don't do that. Said, we replace, said, we repair and replace. Said, we'll write you a check. He says, well, is that the way you do it on all your policies? He said, yes, it is. He said, well, I would like to cancel the life insurance on my wife.
I catch that one. You know, he didn't want to replace it, he wanted he wanted the money out of it. Okay. Yeah. Gentlemen, I got something to ask, a question. Since this investigation has been brought up on the Veterans Administration, has anybody seen a Wounded Warriors advertisement on TV where they're asking for money for wounded warriors?
I have,
Have you seen one?
yeah,
Since they started this investigation?
no.
Come to think of it, they have cut back. Wonder if there's a connection there.
Well, I've been watching to try to see, and I haven't seen one, and as bad as I despise commercials and whatever, I believe I would have caught it, but I don't believe I've seen one in a week or two, or since this thing started to stink, since they started stirring,
You
look at
know,
it.
at one time it was reported that, the wounded veterans only got about 5% of that contribution, and the rest went overhead.
They're lucky if they get that much.
Yeah, I would imagine that would be true.
It burns me up when they put children, and showing dirty water that they drink. You don't see them drinking it, but they, you know, homeless, sick children, skinny children, and they try to, you know, that's not filmed overseas anywhere. That's somewhere in Hollywood where they make them commercials. It just burns me up, and they show these poor animals that have been mistreated and everything. That ain't right. You know, they ought to present their case, tell the people how much money goes for what, and appeal to our senses instead of our emotions.
The advertisement that you're talking about, I remember seeing that where the little girl is dipping the muddy water up and putting it in the can, and they're indicating to you that she's drinking that water.
That
But
they
have you
live on
ever
that.
seen them drink that water?
No, they never show them drink that water.
Yeah.
And this big heavy-set guy with a white beard comes on, and oh, you got to send $19 a month. You know, everybody's gone to that $19 a month. Have you noticed that?
That guy, that same guy, back years ago, he's been at this for untold years.
Yeah.
But he used to wear a big Rolex, and he got
They
rid of that.
made him take that off.
It didn't look too good out
Now,
there.
they know what time it is now.
Well, he's out there begging for money. He's wearing a Rolex, and he's about drowning in gold and necklaces and whatever. But they've stripped him down now. It's just the shirt and
Being
whatever.
blessedly TV deprived, I miss all these wonderful
Well,
things.
you ain't really missing anything. And I'll tell you another thing. If on TV, there's 1,000 things that we could discuss, but I'm sure that part of the audience out there feels the same way about it. is we are totally eat up with commercials. I mean, I can see a little bit to pay the bills, but my goodness, whenever you start putting 12 and 15 of them strung together.
It takes 4 hours to show an hour-and-a-half movie now.
Well, I like talk radio, but now we have one of our local stations, the only one that we can pick up pretty decent right now is WOKI, and I like to hear them and whatever, but they're doing the same thing.
No, man, they really have them.
Yeah, they're
You
stringing
ever
these commercials
listen to
together.
Coast to coast,
Well, they used to really enjoy Coast to Coast.
ain't nothing on there but commercials.
Well, that's what I mean.
You gotta stay up late to get coast to coast,
Yeah,
don't
I believe old truck drivers got you started on that, didn't they?
you? Yeah, I didn't even know about coast to coast till
Well,
there.
It's for them people who can't sleep and ain't got much sense.
But I tell you what, every now and then, you really get some good information off that coast to
Yeah, I
coast.
know, I expect we've got them shadow people watching us right now.
Well, the Coast to Coast is what keeps these truck drivers going in the night.
Right.
But anyhow, just kind of a touch on that thing. I don't believe I've seen the Wounded Warrior commercial, and it bothers me anyhow, because I don't think that they should have to beg for money for our frontline combat soldiers or anybody else. And the reason, every time I see that, I think about the president back here about 6 months ago or something, spent $200 million on a vacation. And that kind of makes me to believe that if there was actually all these wounded warriors out there, that the president wouldn't spend that kind of money. And I'm going to back up and say this now. The veterans, I heard them saying that one of the reasons that the veterans weren't being taken care of was because of a lack of money, revenue. And that makes no sense.
Our
the way they're spending money.
Our government has no shortage of money. They print their own. If they need 200 million, they go down there and they put some Chinese to work hand cranking that printer.
Well, our veterans should be taken care of. There's no reason for it to be like it is.
I agree.
There's no reason whatsoever.
I agree totally.
And this guy, he's high up in the Veterans Administration. They said he resigned, but the dadgum thing it was, he's already getting ready to quit and draw his money.
He could take an early retirement, not lose any of his benefits, and that's what he did.
Right.
After he testified yesterday, he resigned this morning,
Well,
or last night after the testimony.
and he didn't lose anything.
Didn't lose a thing.
Our
government-
When he gets sick, they ought to send him to a VA hospital.
Let me ask you a question, fellas. If you're in the military and you get a dishonorable discharge, what happens to your benefits?
I don't believe you get any.
Even your right to vote
You
is
don't
taken.
get any.
That's right. If you get a dishonorable discharge, your benefits are gone. But yet, you could be a politician, you can do anything you want to, a government employee of any kind or whatever, and your benefits are never interfered with.
Right, they need to be dishonorably discharged also.
It'd make a difference.
Yeah.
Can I use this as an entry into a comment about one of our
Here you go.
county commissioners who wants to tax all the signs?
No, you won't hear this.
Well, I never knew I had Martians in my garden. And I never knew there were aliens on my roof. I got shadow people, and they're living in my basement. Got a funny feeling, Bigfoot's gonna be here soon. I was so blind before, I was so unaware. But now I swear I'm seeing Sasquatch over there. I turned on my radio in the middle of the night, and I heard things I need to know. Now I can see the light, and I also see a ghost, 'cause I'm listening to Coast to Coast. Well, you never knew that your baby was a hybrid, but as he grew, you began to see the clues. Now you know the signs, 'cause you learned it from George Norrie. Even while you sleep, you got Martians watching you. I turned on my radio in the middle of the night, and I heard things I need to know. And I can see the light, and I also see a ghost, 'cause I'm listening to Coast to Coast. Good morning or good evening, wherever you may be, whichever world you're living in, whatever century, your voice is always welcome here on my radio. Calling with your space transmitter or your telephone. And I turned on my radio in the middle of the night, and I heard things I need to know. Now I can see the light, and I also see a ghost, 'cause I'm listening to Coast to Coast.
What about money?
What kind of music is that?
That's Coast to Coast.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You like that?
it ought to be Ghost to Ghost or something.
Well, you know, our documentary channels are showing a lot of UFO and Bigfoot and those kind of shows as well. Used to, the History Channel had history, and now it's Bigfoot and Sasquatch and aliens.
Right. We ought to fit in there somewhere.
Well,
They just took a cue from George Norrie and Coast to Coast.
yeah, how's that campaign doing?
Who's running?
Look like they're all gonna win.
What are you running for?
I ain't.
Oh,
I
darn.
am. I'm running for the county line.
Man, be better off running for the border.
Yeah, if Cliff Jennings gets in there, we're gonna have the highest tax increase you ever seen. He's,
I'd say if you're running for the border, you'd probably be better off if you was on the south side of it heading north, you'd stand a better chance than you would the other way.
You stand a better chance of getting into the United States than you do of getting out.
Yeah. Well, I thought Cliff Jennings was Jerry Kidd's buddy.
Well, Cliff.
I have a lot of admiration for the godfather of La Follette. He's my man. He's gonna tax everything. You know, he's gonna tax all signs by the square inch. And he set a
After
record.
the election.
After the election, he set a record for taxation in La Follette, 70% increase, wasn't it?
57%.
Yeah, that's my man. You know, the thing about Cliff, though, he'll stand up for what he does.
Right, yeah.
He don't cower down and run from you.
Right, no, unless he just dropped by to have a Dr. Pepper.
Well,
Yeah, diet Dr. Pepper.
Well, that's a diet Dr. Pepper, yeah.
well, who you support?
Heard what?
What?
Who you support for these elections?
I'm gonna vote for Whit Goings.
Yeah,
I'm gonna wait and see how many of them go to jail and then cast a vote.
right.
For those in jail.
Who are you supporting? How's that?
I'm supporting, R.L. Morton.
E.L.
E.L.
E.L. Martin.
L.E.L. Morton, how's that?
Hey, it don't matter if you can spell it or not, just as long as you get it right on that voting machine.
Right, there you go.
Yeah, who you support?
Right, okay. Well, you know,
I'd probably go along with you. Something don't change.
I'm in agreement. We
I
need
believe-
another person that's
I believe
never
this-
worked in the private sector.
There's gonna be a lot of people agree with you, I believe.
You know, Fred Cole's the only one running that's got a job.
I think he's unemployed now.
Did he get fired?
hey, Fred,
Yeah,
he quit all
they
that.
told me he wasn't weighing stuff now. I don't know if that's right or not. I don't know.
Well, no, he's up there at the, scales up there at the,
Well, I thought you guys was for William Beard.
Oh, Lordy.
We hate to knock him out of a job.
Hey, this room ain't high enough to get our feet up for that kind of bull.
Yeah. Well,
What do you think will be the end result? Do you think we're going to get anything that the politicians running, I hear them tell us what we need. We need this, that, jobs, you name it. They name all kinds of things that we need. Do you hear any of them telling us how to get it?
no, but I'll tell you the one, I was just joking with you about EL. I'd vote for Jack Lynch.
Well, I've heard that he's a good person. Sure have.
Has he got a job?
Yeah,
Where does he work?
he works for the high school.
Government work? No, that don't qualify.
Well, does he teach or what does he do at school?
He teaches,
Okay.
What subject?
economics, I think.
Well, that'd be a good background. Economics would. I mean,
We might need
yeah, we
him.
might need him. Yeah.
At least he wouldn't be able to weasel out of it. When you ask him a question, he couldn't say, well, I'll have to check into that.
I didn't know that they still taught
I
economics.
thought he taught math.
No, he teaches economics, I believe.
Economics, okay.
Well,
Well, that requires a lot of math, don't it?
What, yeah?
well,
Fuzzy
the,
math,
does,
What kind of math?
fuzzy math.
Fuzzy
Does-
math?
does, Jack have any suggestions also, or do you know as to how that we improve this county?
Well, I ain't never asked him, because I ain't never seen him, because he's out campaigning, but,
Won't you have him come on Bob and Ron's show here?
well, I could ask him if I get to see him there.
Well, I'll tell you what, I've never heard anything said ill toward him. I've never heard anybody have anything bad to say about him.
Well, his brother was on the school board. His name was David Lynch. He was in the first district.
Mingo.
Mingo, know him from years and years ago. Sure do.
You know David Lynch?
Yeah, sure do.
He's black-headed.
Yeah,
Lately,
That's Jackson's brother.
yeah. Well, yeah.
I remember
I can-
Mingo had brown hair.
I can tell you a story about, it was something funny, I don't remember what it was. David was out of town, he called home, and I believe Jack would be his younger brother, isn't he?
Yeah.
Well, I believe, David called home, and I think he had swiped his younger brother's cigarette lighter or something. And the younger brother, I believe Jack, answered the phone, and David wanted to talk to somebody, and I think his younger brother said that he didn't know no David or nothing like that, and I think hung up on him.
Person.
Yeah, person or something, but he wouldn't take the call or something, told him he didn't know nobody or they didn't live there or something. That goes way back now. I thought it was kind of funny at that time, though.
Got your pajamas on?
Yeah,
Brothers will do things, you know.
I got this boy.
That's brother David, he was a school teacher.
We make a good pair. I
Well,
got shoes that
David
don't
was-
match, and you got pajamas on.
I think he's a good person too. I ain't heard nothing bad about David.
No.
He's,
And Jack.
David's his brother.
Yeah,
Yeah, Jack's the younger one.
yeah.
But, I think David, he went above and beyond the call of duty on a certain situation that I don't wanna go into a lot, but he's a stand-up person from what I hear.
Yeah.
When I knew him from times back long ago, let me put it that way.
Well, he was on the school board, and, this last election before this one, that Wilson boy beat him out of it.
Well, I hope he didn't, support these your solar panels.
No, he wasn't on there.
I don't know.
But everybody else that's running, all the old ones voted for the solar panels, and I ain't voting for none of them.
Well, that's,
They're not qualified.
this solar panel thing, if I'm not mistaken, did they bring it before the county? Well, they did.
Yeah.
They brought it to the county commission.
Yep.
They voted it that night,
Yep.
first time it came up.
Yep.
Went out in the hall, and that's when this guy,
Yep.
Switched his vote.
switched his vote.
See, it failed. They didn't get the 8 votes they needed, and it failed. And they took Wendell Bailey out in the hall and twisted his arm for about 5 or 10 minutes. Came
Well-
back in, he switched his vote, and it passed with 8 votes.
And the school board already voted.
Yeah, but-
The school board, I think, voted
Unanimous.
unanimous.
Do you remember, there was some 2 or 3 things that the county commission has done this way. They bring it up the night, vote it right then, and they gave us their word somewhere back that they wouldn't do that. That anything that came up that was very significant, that
But they wasn't
No, that
significant.
wasn't but
No,
two,
just-
that
Well,
wasn't
they're
but 2
done.
meetings, that was it.
They're doing what, Jeff Marlowe tells them to do. You know, it's like, when, road superintendent, what's his name?
Potter,
Potter, could save them $120,000 out here on the money hole part that would have eventually saved probably over $700,000. Jeff Marlowe said, "Oh, no, we can't do it the way you suggest. No, we wouldn't be permitted to do that." And argued against Dennis Potter, and Marlowe don't know Dennis Potter's job. Dennis knows his own job. He knows whether he can do something or not. And he could have saved the county probably about $600,000, but that wasn't the agenda of Jeff Marlowe. He wants to spend, borrow, spend, borrow, spend, borrow.
Let me put a different light on what we're talking about, you know. And I think we are beating the government up too bad for this reason. The only thing that saves us from our government is its inability to do anything right.
Yeah, but if you got
Yeah,
Jeff
he's
Marlowe
like-
telling him which way to go, he knows how to borrow money and
You
he
better be
knows how to
worried
spend
about,
money.
you better be worried about your county commissioners, cause you're
Right.
fixing to get a tremendous tax increase this year.
Right, it's the government's inefficiency that saves us from it. So he's like a buddy of mine, I know, sorry thing, he hadn't done anything, got on dope and everything else. Can't do nothing right, and he tried to kill himself the other day and couldn't. So he couldn't do anything right.
Well, let me tell you something. You guys vote somebody in that's good, supposed to be, they're in there for a while, they're good as they go when they go in, but when they come out, they're corrupted.
that's a good point. I've seen that happen.
Well,
We've got a grand example of that real local like here.
Bob, you made a great point there about notification of government if they're incompetent and unable. Adrian Beard and Lynn Lettner, when they were on the county commission, nothing ever got done because they neutralized each other.
Right.
So there wasn't any wasted money or anything.
But anything Adrian was for, Lynn was against and vice versa.
Vice versa, and they would fight it out tooth and nail. And now we have no debate on nothing.
Well, anything
And you
Jim
know-
Marlowe wants.
Economically, the 6 best years of my life was from 1994 to 2000, when Newt Gingrich nullified the Clinton family, who were in the White House.
Right.
And government actually decreased. The economy went absolutely crazy. They actually balanced the budget,
And had some surplus.
and we had the econ boom, and everybody was making money
Well, now, here local,
because they nullified each other.
what the people need to do now, they need to be asking questions, and I'm talking about the hard questions.
But he cut
Will I turn him off or what?
He cut off.
But,
He hung up on
appreciate your call now. Sure
Yeah,
do.
thank you for calling.
Yeah. People need to be asking the
We
incumbents.
got music. I told them if they
Is that what it
didn't,
is?
I told them we wouldn't be back next week unless we had a radio show of our
Are they
own.
covering us up again?
Yeah.
Okay.
Folks, we may not be here next week.
You can monitor back through,
Yeah,
yeah, you can hear it too.
yeah.
I see what you're saying.
If we're either on or we ain't, I'm tired of this. This has been going on for 2 months.
Well, we can sit around and talk to ourselves and we're not accomplishing a
That's
whole
right.
lot. I mean,
If we're gonna buy our time, we're gonna use it.
Right.
Well, if you buy our time, they should give it to you.
It's just bleeding over right now.
They've turned the mic off now, that helped.
Yeah.
Okay, they could've done that a long time ago if they wanted to. Sorry, folks.
Well, you know, you got the engineer don't know how to run this train?
Evidently.
Well, I wanna say something about the county commissioner race since we're on it. We got a county commissioner on there that, is in violation of Tennessee Code Annotated, which is a felony. He owns 5 school buses, which is actually 5 felonies. He turned the contracts with the school system over to a relative, but he retained ownership of the school buses, which is still a felony under Tennessee Code Annotated. Now, a citizen here has took this to Paul Phillips, and Paul would not prosecute. When Paul left office and his niece was appointed district attorney, the same information has been taken to her. So this violation of the law by a county commissioner has been taken to the district attorney's office twice, and neither one of them, neither Paul Phillips nor this Lori Phillips Jones, will do their job. They will not do anything about it, and so we have a county commissioner who, by the way, is running for re-election, who owns 5 school buses in violation of the law. Folks, if we don't get these criminals out of government, hey, just give them everything you own and turn it over to them.
Well, you know,
Listen, wait a minute. Hang on just a minute.
5, 4, 4.
Oh, wait a minute, we're gonna
No,
start the beginning
yeah,
here.
now incidentally, that telephone number that you didn't hear belongs to,
Vaughn Biddle Wilson.
That's it, Ronnie,
Ronnie
there.
Wilson.
Been here off and on for over 30 years in the same spot. Pumping propane, doing repairs on containers, heaters. I'm the only one in the county that'll do you a repair on your tanks if you need it. I sell propane gas, liquid propane, and I've got plenty of competitors, and I can easily compete with them. That's grills, backup heat, substitute heat, grills, campers, motor homes, you name it, and if it comes in through that door, I can take care of it. I'm here Tuesday through Friday, 8 till 5, and Saturday, 8 till 12. They could call me at 562 54
4-4.
4-4. That's
54-44.
Von Digger Wilson down in
5-4-4-4.
Sawmill Holler.
A member of the Shriners.
Yeah, by the way, you done missed the Shrine paper sale, but you can go buy Diggers and make a contribution.
Yeah, there you go, you can do that. Oh, back to what you were talking about politicians being in violation of the law. There was a statement one time that if politicians do not respect the law, there is no justification for respecting the politician. And I agree with that.
I agree totally.
Well, that certainly wipes out Washington, don't it?
Yeah.
You said that right. About all of them that got up there by being slick enough to avoid the law.
Yeah, and I've never seen anybody so familiar with a lie in my life as them people we got running the place now.
I know that.
Well, it made me sick. I was tickled to death with Chuck Flashman until this election, and here he is going around to schools giving away my money, our tax money, the people's money, as if he is handing it out. This is one of the oldest political tricks in the book, going around to the schools and giving away money, grant money, they call it grant money. It's tax dollars they've taken away from us, and then they use it for their own personal political purposes. And I'm sorry, Chuck Flashman, you went way down in my estimate of your character when you did that. I'd expect, now William Beard was there, I expect that from him. I expect it from Denise Powers. But I did not think a Tea Party candidate, a conservative who has voted conservative over the years like Flashman has, would stoop that low. Now, Flashman, you can do better than that. Show some backbone and get your character back. And quit listening to William Beard and Denise Powers on how to politic this county.
Yeah, they're learning, but do you realize you were talking about the politicians, no reason to respect them, but they don't respect the law? If you look at it realistically, if the politicians would sweep around their own door, this would be a real clean world. Cause it's the politicians, the government officials that have muddied up the water in every instance. Wherever you go, they cause wars, they cause strifes, they cause famine, they cause all the things that occur here in this world that's bad. And I can't think of one good thing that the government does for the people, honestly, that the people couldn't do better for themselves.
Who was that state representative? Did you send something, an email about a state representative in Tennessee that's trying to do something about, what was it he was proposing or he got passed?
I don't remember.
Uh,
That's why I sent it to you.
Well, anyway,
Bill, was it?
I checked, he's from District 94, and that's McNairy County. Now, this state representative, Rich Barrett, I think was his name, or Barrett Rich or something. But anyway, he's from McNairy County, and he comes out of law enforcement. Now, if you remember McNairy County, Tennessee, that was a source.
Buford Pusser.
Buford Pusser.
Yeah, okay. Hey, what about Ronnie?
Hey guys,
Hey,
how you doing?
Pretty good.
great.
56666, that's all you changed it.
No, that's the old number. That's 423-907-2655. We're collecting toys,
All right.
shoes, sandals, and stuffed animals.
All righty. We'll see what we can do, and we appreciate you.
Okay, well, we might see you sometime or another.
Okay,
See ya.
All right,
thank you.
bye.
All right. Yeah, well, what was his name?
Rex?
Don't know who that was, but who'd you say? Guy
State
was-
representative from
I'm
District
trying to look it up.
94. Go to the Tennessee House of Representatives.
Barrett Rich,
Barrett Rich.
and he, what's he up to here? Let's see. Barrett Rich. I found him. Man, I forgot what he's doing. Let's see, civil forfeiture.
Yeah, seizure of
Yeah.
property if you
Yeah.
commit a crime.
Tennessee's #1 in civil forfeiture, where they take everything you got just 'cause they think you might be doing something they don't want you to do.
They don't even have to convict you of a crime.
No,
They
sir,
can
they
take
take
everything
your
you own.
money.
You know, maybe we could put a pot, a marijuana plant in a pot, and put it down there in William Beard's office, and
Oh, he just smoked it.
they'll forfeit and seizure our entire
I
courthouse.
wish they would and sell it. Put
If
some
they
good
would
people
seize
in
our
it.
courthouse, we wouldn't have to put up with this foolishness.
Let me do another commercial.
All right,
Put
don't
a-
do that.
Put a marijuana plant in the
heart
courthouse
attack
and
coming
let them
on.
seize it.
I think I'm gonna do another commercial.
Yeah.
Yeah, here it goes, I think.
Well, we've been in business here for 75 years. I've had 40 years experience in the ambulance service. We have a Class A ambulance service. Almost 22 employees. 22 employees that we pay for all on our own. How much taxpayer money goes into this operation? Absolutely nothing. Nothing. We do all kinds of ambulance service. We're rated by the state as a Class A service. We we can haul any kind of patients, we go anywhere. We do a lot of non-emergency transports, nursing homes, hospitals, doctor's offices. We go anywhere that patients want to go. We appreciate the opportunity to serve each and every one of our patients. Anybody, any kind of insurance you have, we're qualified to take it.
If you need medical transport, that's an ambulance, then call the company that does not require taxpayer money. They either please you or they go out of business. Call Vital Care at 562-9370. And if you can't remember that, just call 911 and tell them you want Vital Care. Works every time.
Yeah, it does. Good people, tender loving care, you know, very good.
The, there's a subject that I just heard the other day kind of hit on, I don't know whether, I'm pretty sure it's pretty true. But my understanding is, or I was informed that Campbell County, all lunches in the Campbell County schools are gonna be free. Have you heard anything about that?
No, I hadn't heard that.
Well, I've heard it. I'm
Yeah.
not,
Well, most of them are anyway.
The school board voted
is that
to
right?
make all meals free
Okay, this has
next
been,
year, yeah.
this has been going on, and it's not free, but anyhow, the person that mentioned it
Well, it's
to
free
me-
to the one eating.
You're right, well, okay. But anyhow, Knox County has had several schools that are doing this and have been doing it for a while. If you have, and I believe it's 40% of your students are entitled to lunch supplements or whatever, then the school or somehow it could go 100%.
My young'un come on one time and his feelings had hurt. They'd been making fun of him because he's the only one paying for his lunch.
Well, there's something about that. But anyhow, it's not free, it's being paid for. It's another, I don't know how to-
Governmental.
Yeah, it's a government interference. The guy that mentioned it to me, he strongly objected to being a free lunch. He said every student ought to have to pay at least 1 penny, just for the principle, the fact that it's not free, they're paying for it.
Or wash dishes.
Well,
Or sweep the floor, clean up the cafeteria afterwards. Pay
Yeah.
for their meal.
uh,
We should be teaching children how to work and earn their way instead of everything in the world being a free handout.
well,
You're
the
right,
guy's,
totally
the
right.
guy told me, and it makes sense. I thought myself that they ought to have to pay at least 25 cents for a meal, and I don't think that would break them. If you break down to what a pack of cigarettes cost, or
That'd feed a young'un for a month.
that's what I was saying, it should be, you know, when we went to school, I don't think there was such thing as what we're talking about here. I believe the meal was 25 cents and 2 cents for a box of milk. And I don't believe-
20 cents. It's $1 for 5 days.
Well,
There was ways that they helped children who they knew came from indigent homes.
but it wasn't the federal government stepping in.
It wasn't the government doing it, it was the personnel of the school who
Right.
knew the community.
It was being dealt with within the community.
Yes, these were small schools, you know, this big consolidation thing, that's so the government can play politics with stuff you're talking about.
Well, I understand that there's people in need, but still yet, it changes the whole appearance of the thing if you pay something. And there's 25 cents wouldn't break. Whenever they, like what you was talking about, it only costs this much to take care of this dog, or to do this, or to do that, or to take care of that child over yonder in some third world country that's not actually over there. But,
I remember teaching back in the 70s at a school, and a whole family, they had about 5 children, and about 3 of them played ball for me. I was a coach, and they were outstanding athletes, but all 5 of them ate free at school. And their family owned 2 vehicles. The daddy drove the vehicle to work, and they had a Jeep, which they went hunting and fishing in. I went hunting and fishing with them. And they didn't hurt for bait, tackle, gas for their Jeep,
Well,
or, sleeping bags, tents, cigarettes. No, they were athletes. They really didn't, none of them smoked. And, I don't remember whether the daddy and mom did. I don't think they did. They lived in a nice ranch-style house too. And they all ate free.
until we change the thinking, we're heading down the same road we've been going down for years. This is socialism, is what it is.
Well, see, I can take you one step back further. When I came along, first through the 8th grade, there was no cafeteria at our school. Everybody carried their own lunch to school.
Right.
So you can see what changes I have seen. I've gone from no cafeteria to a cafeteria where you paid for your lunch to what we're getting now. You know, if they can
You
get
got a
away
bologna,
they
I
get
used to
away
get a
all these-
bologna sandwich
yeah, free lunches, why do we
and a
need?
peanut butter and jelly
Hey,
sandwich
if
for
we get-
dessert
Hey, if you have all these free
and a
lunches,
brown bag.
why in the world do we need to send money overseas to these countries to provide lunches? Just let them give them free lunches.
And we got 2 cents a day to go down and buy one of those little cartons of
Box
milk
of milk.
to drink with your brown bag lunch.
Well,
Oh, yeah.
And you had to fold that bag up and take it back home.
that's what I was gonna say. Y'all was.
Well, when I was in the 1st or 2nd grade,
You didn't bring your bag back, they'd
No,
threaten you
if
with
you
not
did
getting
something
lunch the
naughty-
next day.
if you did something naughty, a lot of times they would put you in the cloakroom, which had no lights, you know, very little lights, it'd isolate you and that, until they found out I was going getting all the goodies, all these kids' bags, and eating their candy bar and eating their apples, you know, so they would not put me in the lunch cloakroom.
flashlight with you?
No.
There was no cloakroom where I went to school. You got your hind end tore up, or the teacher in the lower grades would
Paddle that hand.
turn them fingers back and burn that palm up. Cause you couldn't bruise it, and it hurt. Woo!
But you know, in looking back, you know, you're supposed to learn from history, okay? What went on the past. You know, the only lesson that I've seen that's ever been learned from that is that people do not learn from history.
When we let the socialist progressives take over the educational system in this country, we dug a pit which we are going to fall into. In fact, we see evidence of it now.
Right?
You know, when Horace Mann and John Dewey took over the educational system, and they were both Ivy League graduates. Horace Mann came from Dartmouth. John Dewey was a Columbian radical.
Yeah.
And when they took
He's
over the
one that won the
educational
election
system,
and didn't win the election.
no, John Dewey.
John Dewey,
He was, no, you're thinking about Tom Dewey,
Tom Dewey.
who was a prosecutor in the 40s.
Now, Tom Dooley was a different person.
Now, Tom
Yeah.
Dooley was a
He
North,
hung down his head,
Yeah.
Tom Dooley was a North Carolinian, wasn't he?
Miss
Michael
Landon.
Landon,
Michael Landon played Tom Dooley, didn't he?
Yeah.
Grayson got him though. Yeah, Grayson.
Grayson hunted him down. But, yeah, we let the socialist progressives, and if you noticed at about the same time they took over the school system, we started getting hit with school tax, which they converted over into property tax. Now, Kentucky, I think, is still on school tax. And I think they tax each school individually, too. And Kentucky's got some of the worst taxes on the planet. But they converted it over into property tax so they could share the money with the county mayor and David Young down there, you know, they, and the county commission and Jeff Marlowe, they gotta have some of that money too. So,
Well, I know people who've never had any kids and have been paying property taxes all their life.
yeah, exactly, that's the injustice of it.
That's the socialistic way of doing things, where
Of course it is.
everybody has to pay for everything.
Spread the misery.
Well, you know, Hillary Clinton says that you don't raise your kids, it takes a community to raise your kids.
Well, I believe the president said you didn't do that too,
You
didn't you?
said that right,
Bill said it takes a community to take care of the old man too.
Right. About the truth. Sometimes that's,
Tickles me, he stays in New York dating all these high dollar, models until Hillary gets criticized, and then all of a sudden, he's in love with her again.
Yeah, did you notice that the other day when he gave that talk about, whenever, Rose said that she was brain dead or brain damaged or
Yeah.
something? Well,
Said she had a fall and wasn't over it.
yeah, well, did you notice him trying to search for words? Bill Clinton? He's
Did
in
you
trouble.
see his hand shaking?
Well,
He was trying to hold the mic,
he,
and it was,
he's in trouble.
well, you think he caught it from his, attorney general? Remember that woman
Yeah.
that attorney general he had from Miami that,
That she was
was-
in charge over Waco, wasn't she?
yeah,
Janet-
and Janet Reno.
Reno.
yeah,
You know, she had that shaking problem.
right.
Well,
So, maybe Clinton spent too much time with her.
the,
If they had her shooting the guns out of Waco, she wouldn't have hit nobody.
if we don't, this election, people need to start asking some hard questions.
Government in Jacksboro is
About-
out of control. You
Well-
are right.
The past, whenever we elect people, we elect them to represent us, not to go down there and do whatever you know what
Not
they
go
think.
down there and make
Well-
Jeff Marlowe rich
Well-
and all his friends rich.
If,
Yeah, I agree with you 100%, and you need to ask, why is this guy running for the office he's running for?
Yeah.
Is it an ego trip? If it's not, what is it that he thinks he can do to help this county as a county commissioner or as another government official? I see a lot of people running for the school board. It's nothing but an ego trip for them, that's all it is. They think it's a stepping stone to a higher political office.
Well, Cliff Jennings has already made the public comment, and you know David G. Young does anything Cliff says. And Cliff has already said that he sees no problem with Jeff Marlowe and the way things are right now in Jacksboro.
Right.
And he'd be fine with keeping them the way they are.
He's
So
already
folks,
he's already got that system in Jacksboro figured out where he can just blend right in, take advantage of it.
he must be desperate for a vote because he stopped by Ron's the other day. Sadly, Ron wasn't at home, but he stopped by Ronnie's place
I appreciate the business.
trying to get a vote.
Well, bought some tooth for
the-
something, I do appreciate it, really do.
Jennings,
Cards, yeah, well, right now, he paid for them with his own money.
He's gotta make some signs.
Unusually.
He's gotta make some signs he can tax.
well, when Cliff was the mayor of La Follette, and he had his talk show, and I believe that talk show become his undoing.
Right.
Once people started calling in and asking questions, I think.
It wasn't his talk show, did it?
They sure wiped
It
me up,
was the guy that kept calling.
I believe that turned around and bit him. But,
Talk shows will get you in trouble.
Oh, they
Yeah,
will. He made a statement one time. The discussion was about, it was the County Powers Act and zoning and all these things, you know, where the government takes over and does all your thinking and everything for you.
Yeah.
He made a statement, and it stuck with me. He said that we must be protected from ourselves. And that's why we need the government to protect us from ourselves. And I'm sure he still holds to that, just like the County Powers Act and all. Cliff thinks that government is the answer to everything.
Well
Yeah.
spoken for a statist.
And so Fred Cole always did also, he felt like the government was the answer to everything, you know. And it was the answer to everything for he and
let me-
William Baird, you
let me
know.
ask-
It looks to me like his government employees sued him for divorce.
Well, fellas, if you stop and think about it, do we need the county officials, elected officials, do we need all these people worse than they need us? Who are they without us? We pay the bills we go out there and bust our hind ends, we take the chance, the risk, and whatever else. And all we do, they say, we need this, and we just hand it over to them.
Well, the
And-
thing about it is, when you're in business, and you know this, we've all done it, whenever you decide to spend more money for some reason, you're in business, you figure out what you can cut. Now, the school board has voted twice to give the school teachers and employees a raise, and I don't have any problem with that, but I wanna know what they plan on cutting to get the money.
Okay.
Right now, school teachers make $225 a day, that's not bad. $225 a day is not bad pay for this county, considering that the average pay in this county is about, $100 a day.
And that's for those that work.
Yeah, for the ones that are lucky enough to have a job. So, although I'm 100%
Now that-
in favor of paying school teachers more money, I'm for cutting the budget to get the money. Don't go
That
back to the
200
top.
Ronnie, that $225 is for a 5-hour day.
Oh, I know, and it also don't count benefits.
That's right.
Well-
So actually, a study that was done back in 2005 and 2006, teachers are actually paid higher by the hour than nurses, engineers, dentists, a lot of professional, even engineers.
Right.
A lot of professions do not make as much, because those professions, those people work minimum 40 hours, some of them work 60 and 70 hours a week, and a teacher puts in about 25 hours a week, so their hourly wages
Right.
way
Well,
up there.
But you
Well,
know, we're almost getting to the point here in this country where we would let dentists tell us when our teeth are hurting. We're letting a cobbler or shoemaker tell us when the shoes fit good. And we're also letting the government tell us when we're well governed.
What to eat,
you
how
know-
to eat, how much to eat, it's ridiculous.
Well, there's more things that.
Government's out of control.
There's things going on local, but there's things going on national level too. But locally, if we don't ask these politicians right now, what if we did the same thing in business that we do in politics, that whenever we're electing somebody, we're actually hiring them? What if every employee you hired, you could not get rid of him for 4 years, no matter what he does? And that basically is what we've got right now. A politician, you cannot get them out of office without they molest a 2-year-old out here under the traffic light.
Well,
And
even
then they'll
then,
take-
I might.
Ariel,
Now, you take.
You're
what-
talking about what the unions are actually working toward,
Uh,
because in a lot of states like Illinois and New York, you know, a teacher could actually go in a classroom, shoot 10 or 12 kids, or molest them, or commit heinous crimes, and they can't fire them.
And they might get out of the classroom, but they continue to pay that salary.
Yes,
Okay.
they put them over in a holding area.
Yeah, yeah.
First thing we can do, here's a good question to ask these people running for office. And I'm talking about any of them, I'm talking about city, county, or whatever. If they don't make the meeting, would they be willing to vote? And I'm talking about make this the rule and the law, not just on their own. Would they be willing to vote that they don't get paid for that month?
Now,
If they don't show up-
I've talked to a couple of commissioners, who think like you do. They are actually saying that we have a problem, and, there has to be, a cap on this spending and borrowing and spending and borrowing.
But what about the statement I just made? Okay, cap, I got you.
Yeah, that they've gotta put a stop to this, they gotta put a stop to Jeff Marlowe. This Jeffrey Miller, he's a young man, I'm not sure what district he's in,
In the first district.
First District. He has made the comment that we really need a desperate change in Jacksboro, and he's willing to see that we get a change if he's elected. Now, his, uncle, I think, is, on the school board,
Rector
and
Miller.
he's trying to cut overhead costs, and Poston's real upset with him, because
He
Post,
voted for the
For the solar panels.
For the solar panels.
well, I know that, but he voted against this, guy running around drawing $80,000 for nothing. I mean, you know, He's wanting to remove some positions that Poston has, put out there that has absolutely nothing to do with teaching whatsoever.
Right. Well, that's one of the problems. I taught public school for a while, and as I was, my last year or so teaching public school, the paper burden got greater and greater, on me even back in the 60s.
I didn't know they had paperwork before the Civil War, Bob.
Well,